Hey everybody, it is Cyborg. I am joined by Temp as always, and we have this time Injustice Year Three's annual. So this actually it takes place, looks like, way back in Year 1, so it takes place before the events. Well, part of it takes place back in Year 1. The other part takes place just before Year Three's events start, so it kind of ties into that a bit. Either way, we can jump into this, so it's not really pertinent in which kind of... I mean, you probably don't want to read this before you read Year 3, because it does kind of hint and spoil some outcomes, or, yeah, it strongly hints at what could possibly happen. But anyways, so, yeah. Luckily for you, this video is being put up in correct order, so, you know, just, like, watch the other videos first, man. Like, be a cool dude and stuff. Anyways, I have no direction to this, so we're gonna come back to
Well, neither does this comic, so it's
true.
okay.
Okay, so let's jump into it here. So we start off in Central City, and this is the one that takes place right before the events of Year 3. We have Batman talking to what turns out to be Dr. Occult, I believe, and it is the female whose name is Rose, as well as the male, who are both like sharing the same bodies. Well, they're not sharing the same body, but I don't know, it's kind of confusing.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. I'm not. It's kind of like a cloak and dagger thing, maybe. I don't really know how to describe it.
It's like two entities in one, but they don't. One, like, if one's body is destroyed, apparently it doesn't necessarily mean the other's is. But we'll get into that. I'm not familiar with the characters, so excuse me if you're like, Dr. Occult is like your favorite character of all time or something. We're gonna obviously stumble through this a little bit because we're not familiar with the character. I will say the character seems kind of neat based off of the very little we see here, but yeah, Batman essentially recruits Dr. Occult to help him capture Raven, it seems like. Seems like that's what he wants, and he needs Raven taken out of the equation before everything goes down. So then we kind of see a few different things transpire here. First of all, Dr. Occult's getting some sort of interacting with Baron Winters, I guess. Not sure who that is, but Dr. Occult's interacting with him, and then Constantine happens to be there for whatever reason. And he overhears all of this, and he offers his help to take down Raven. He also explains why he has not helped Batman thus far, even though he would like to see Superman stopped. He's got his own thing going on, his own agendas. And then we see Dr. Occult talk to Enchantress, and... Oh, Rose.
Which is really confusing because she looks like Raven, so I had to stop for a second. But
yeah, there's all sorts of crazy stuff going on here. So yeah, it gets quite confusing here. But yeah, so there's a lot of interaction there between mages, basically. So they're setting everything up. Turns out Constantine is going to help with the whole Raven thing, as we see Dr. Occult open up the realm to enter where Raven is currently at, and she tries to stop him / her, and they kind of fight it out. It looks like the male version of Dr. Occult is, or I guess it's Dr. Occult and then it's Rose Psychic. I don't think they're both called Dr. Occult. So if you've already just berated me in the comment section, I'm sorry for that. I know, I told you it was going to be a stumbling. It's like trying to solve some damn riddles right off the bat here. But yes, Dr. Occult is the male, Rose Psychic is the female. So we're there. We have some blunders here on this, as we once thought Black Canary's baby was destroyed, but it was not. So we're a little slow going at times. But anyway,
takes
so
a
yes.
moment every once in a
Yeah.
while.
So Dr. Occult gets destroyed by Raven. He just gets like obliterated into a skeleton. And it separates the two bodies, so Rose Psychic comes out, and Constantine helps her capture Raven. So they wrap her up and put her down. Constantine draws the little circle around Raven's body. So this is setting up the events of year 3 where Raven's captured. Right out of the gate, we see that Raven was captured. So this is the prequel to that, setting up how that exactly happened. And yeah, and then it's found out that Rose Psychic and Dr. Occult need each other. So without one of them, the others will die shortly. So she, knowing this, takes Constantine's advice and goes and finishes the job, and she puts Wonder Woman in a sleep spell. So we find out how Wonder Woman's put to sleep and who exactly does that. Because it was alluded to in year 3 that Constantine played some role in there, so now we find out exactly how that happened. Rose Psychic was the one to do that. Wonder Woman wakes up, though, right before it happens, and she tries to fight her off, but she manages to make it happen. Rose Psychic panics, though, after she succeeds, and she needs to get the heck out of there. She can't die there, otherwise then they'll know something's up. And so she manages to get away, but she's off on some island. She's holding this little gem of sorts that Constantine gave her, or like a transporter in her hand. Anyway, she teleports to this island, and she's coughing up blood all over. She's not sure where the heck she is. Everything's going all wrong. And then she talks to Batman through the thing that she's holding, the transporter, and she says that the job is done. Batman asks for Rose and Doctor, and she explains that the Doctor is dead and she's dying, and in her dying breath she says, "Don't trust and she just can't quite get it out. But no, she was thinking of Jimmy from South Park. Anyways.
He must win is what I was thinking, but yeah.
But yeah, so the little chip or whatever that she's holding, transporter, falls into the sand, and she can't quite get out the name, so Batman's wondering who he can't trust. And she dies in the sand, and she knows that Constantine is the one that sabotaged her, and he walks up, grabs the transporter from her, and he basically, he sabotaged her for the greater good, even though he completely manipulated like a complete asshole, but that's Constantine, no shock there. But yeah, he basically did that just so she would follow through with Wonder Woman, but the writing was on the wall that she was going to die, so for whatever reason he took that method about it. And yeah, so, and then he takes her little thing that
everything, he robs her body.
Yes, he robs her, most importantly, this little chain thing that prevents a mage from spying and tracking him. So this sets up the whole thing with him and his daughter, that with that item nobody would be able to find them once the time comes where they can get away. He explains that he's a family man now, and all is done there. So before we move on, a little thing I have to ask. Wasn't it stated at the start of year 3 that Batman wasn't in on the whole Raven thing?
Yeah.
I'm going to jump back to that issue. I'm going to try and bring it up.
I know Constantine isn't explicitly without Batman's permission. I can't remember what the dialogue was, so I don't know if it was the capturing Raven that wasn't his permission. Maybe it was in reference to using Dr. Occult.
Yeah, I don't. But Batman was talking to her, and she said that the deed was done. So I don't know. That's weird. I guess I mean, I'm not outright saying that it's a discrepancy, but it does seem a little like, from my understanding, when the whole Raven thing went down. Never mind. I'm getting things mixed up, so that's my bad. Batman didn't know that Constantine was using Raven's spirit to lure Superman.
Oh, that's right, yes.
Okay, so, yeah, because I pulled up the issue here, and it does show that Constantine and Batman go visit her body, so when it's on the ground, that's when the whole Detective Chimp and Batman were in the backseat. So, yeah, that part, okay, so I was getting that confused, so that's cleared up. Okay, any thoughts on the first chapter? Because there are obviously two separate things going on.
I guess I'm glad we now because when we started year 3, we knew why Cyborg was there because of the whole thing that went down with Commissioner Gordon.
Right.
We really didn't know why Raven was there. So this helps. God, I mean, I feel bad for Dr. Occult. Like, that sucks.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that not only being obliterated by Raven, but just being manipulated by Constantine. Like, there's just.
Yeah, and what makes Constantine so unlikable is not the decisions he makes, it's his lack of reaction to the horrible things that happen. He's like, welp.
Yeah, he's just like, yep, sorry.
Rob's body.
Yeah, he did the same thing with Ragman. He's just like, oh, sorry, mate, there's nothing I can do. Sorry, dude. Sucks. Casualties of war, am I right? Like, that's his attitude is like, these things happen, am I right? Like, sucks. It's unfortunate. Shit happens. Like, he seems like he'd be the same way about himself. Like, well, looks like I'm dying now, this sucks. But, I mean, he has, like, no apathy for anybody else. No empathy or whatever. He's just, he's like, yep, sorry. But I mean, that is his character. But yeah, I agree. Yeah. He's the likable jerk. But yeah, he also has those moments where you just like, man, this guy's kind of disgusting. Like, he definitely has those moments. He's very Tony Stark in the way that sometimes he's the lovable jerk, and that he's just doing dastardly tactics, but he's lovable when he does it because he does it for the greater good most times. But then there's the times where, like Tony Stark, he just gets his hands dirty and he just like, ugh, yuck.
Yeah, so. And the whole thing with Batman's like, but who do I trust? Who do I not trust? And I was picturing like Raiden's medallion breaking a little bit more somewhere. It felt kind of contrived, but I don't know. This was not. Honestly, like this annual is less than perfect, but this little segment here is not really the problem. This segment was fine.
All right, well then let's jump into the second part of the annual, which was its own self-contained story as well. So chapter 2 on here. It took place in Metropolis 3 years ago. So this was during year 1. Took place issue 1 of year 1. So it takes place in those exact events. We start off with Superboy flying with Beast Boy in his arms, as in dog form it looks like, and they are flying to go get. The hell was that?
I'm sorry. There's a frame coming up. It's really funny.
Okay. Well, anyways, they're flying to get pizza because I guess there's this really good pizza joint in Metropolis, and they are potentially in a race with Bart, and who is Kid Flash, and they are, yeah, they're in a race. Or Beast Boy's at least in a race with him, but Superboy's going along with it, and he throws Beast Boy. He just throws Beast Boy, like he just drops him, and then Beast Boy is like, "Hey!" and he turns into like a falcon or whatever, an eagle of some sort. And
he's just suspended in the air, just being a dog. His tongue's like flying to this. It's just funny to me.
So that is a funny panel, and yeah, we see Kid Flash jumping from rooftop to rooftop because he's so fast, and all of a sudden, just immediately, the bomb goes off. As far as we know, Kid Flash is just gone because he would have been right in the center of it. And Superboy tries to hold Beast Boy like in his arms to cover him, to shield him, but Beast Boy is completely obliterated as well. He's just in a bloody, torn up mess, muscles, like everything just
his awful. Arms particularly look really bad.
Oh bad day for him. Like rough day at the office. Fortunately, did not get his pizza and lost the race technically because Kid Flash didn't make it further than him in all technicality. And then
he starts the issue with just like fuck Red Robin, and then he dies. That's his whole showing.
That is Beast Boy. Yep. For all those that like Beast Boy, there you go. And Superboy, yes, holding him in his arms, much like Batman did with Jason Todd. So he's got that going on, and then all of a sudden we're back at the Teen Titan Tower, or Titans Tower, I guess they call it, in New York, and they are reacting. Starfire, Wonder Girl, I believe that is, and Tim Drake, Red Robin, they're all reacting to the bomb going off. And I like how Starfire just flies right through the window and just busts it. And yeah, she immediately gets to the scene. And the rest of them do as well. And Superboy already says that Bart's gone. Beast Boy is obviously clearly dead in his arms. They go back to Titan Tower. We also see just a brief shot of Superman for whatever reason, but yeah, and then I'm guessing that's just kind of an update showing Superman probably flying to the Joker, and we see them kind of mourning the loss back at Titan Tower. And yeah, we see kind of like news bulletins going on of the events that happened, and they're not sure who did it, but I believe, who says it was the Joker? Oh yeah, Nightwing pops in and says it was the Joker. He like steps out of the shadows, quite literally. It was the Joker. And then who says? Hold on, we got to backtrack for a second because who said Dick's dead to me? Was that Beast Boy?
Yes.
I thought that was kind of funny foreshadowing where Beast Boy's like, Dick's dead to me. Not just because Beast Boy dies like 5 seconds later, but also because clearly we know what happens to Nightwing.
The Justice League is not the big leagues, and second, Dick Grayson is dead to me.
Yeah. So
little does he know.
Interesting. Not if Damian has something to say about it. There can only be one, Robin. Okay. So, yeah, and Superboy's taking this the roughest out of anyone. He's just tears running down his face. And just as he's flying, they're flying back like, when you're on a roller coaster. And yeah, he's immediately going to find Clark because he's going to have a word with him because he was not happy at the fact that, because it was also announced that he killed the Joker. So, yeah. Superboy's going to go have some words with him. And Starfire is trying to convince Nightwing to stay because she wants some of that good dick. Not
just a little bit. She wants the dick back.
She wants dick back. She misses that dick. And honestly, it's the only dick for her, so good for her. And yeah, so Nightwing's like, no can do. And he just kind of puts the kibosh on that immediately. Then we have Superboy confronting Superman. And so it gets kind of heated. Superboy says, I looked up to you. I was looking forward to eventually taking on your role. You're supposed to be the symbol, so on and so forth. Superman just kind of he just kind of sits there and sulks, but he doesn't say anything. He's just covered in Joker's blood. Superboy takes off. Superman looks up like, what have I done? What have I done? And then we flash forward to New York, and this is kind of interspliced with Superman's speech, telling about how, this is call for peace, a worldwide ceasefire. We splice in some images of the Titans carrying the 2 caskets. Looks like a Red Arrow, or not Red Arrow. Well, he becomes Red Arrow, but
Speedy.
Yeah, Speedy. It's Speedy, Speedball, not Speedball, but Speedy, I think is the name. Is there with Cyborg, Red Robin. I like how Cyborg's not even carrying it. He's just like on his shoulder. He's just like, whatever. I don't
He's
even
totally
put a
faking
hand
it.
on
He's not putting you that weight there.
Oh, guys, this is so heavy. And then,
which is even worse is there's probably nothing in that coffin since there's nothing left of this.
Jeez.
He purposely got to hit to that coffin first. Well, there's only 2. Well, maybe there's only 2 people holding the other coffin for that reason. But I like to think Cyborg is just an asshole in this comic. So
it's possible. It's very possible.
I miss Titan Cyborg so much.
Yeah, just seeing him with the Titans to me is way more fitting than the Justice League. I just don't buy him as a Justice League guy. I know that's weird, but I see him as a Titan member. That's how I've always known him. I don't read the Justice League comics with Cyborg as a Justice League member, so it's just weird to me. I don't know.
Well, it's him and Nightwing too, or him and Robin. That's where all the fun is,
Yeah.
Or him and Beast Boy are fantastic with each other. So
yeah, that's what everybody loves. They love Cyborg and the Titans. So, anyways, so we see some of that splice. Superboy is not helping with the caskets. The strongest member of them is just not helping. He's just looking over Superman as he's giving the speech. He's up on a building just looking down. And then Superboy goes and talks to Ma and Pa Kent. He even mentions Martha's name. Or no, Pa Kent mentions Martha's name. I don't know why he mentioned that name. Why did he say that name? Okay. We'll move on from that joke.
But I see what you were doing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Superboy, and then is going to once again talk to Clark because he is not happy. And Wonder Girl is going to follow him. And it looks like Tim Drake and Starfire as well are going to go find them in time. Superboy is shown then tearing apart the Fortress of Solitude. He's digging, he's smashing everything, clearly looking for something. Wonder Girl thinks he's looking for kryptonite, which I don't really understand. I mean, I know he's part Kryptonian, part whatever, like clone or whatever the hell he is. I don't know a whole lot about Superboy.
Yeah, I don't know anything about Superboy. Nothing.
But at the same time, he would think if he has Kryptonian blood in him, he would also be like, he picks up the kryptonite and he immediately is like struggling to make it out of the Fortress of Solitude. Really kind of funny.
He like brings some tongs and just kind of carries it.
Yes, and then he's in like a hazmat. But no, he's not looking for that. It turns out he is looking for Superman's holding it. It is the Phantom Zone projector, which is what I was guessing as well as I saw him digging, and she mentioned that. I was like, I bet he's looking for that. So that makes the most sense. That's what Kryptonians do. They just put people off in the Phantom Zone and just call it a day.
It's a habit, yes.
Wipe their hands clean and move on with their lives. But yeah, so he immediately attacks Superman. They fight back and forth. Superman backhands him. And yeah, they have a back and forth. Starfire gets in the, or Wonder Girl gets in the mix. She takes up Superboy's side as well, as do the other Titans. They all kind of battle. They go back and forth. Superman eventually says playtime is over, and he starts really going, like, wailing hard at him. And poor Red Robin can't pick up the projector because apparently just the safety cap weighs 100 tons. So it's funny seeing him struggle, which makes sense. I mean, why make it weigh less? Because obviously they only.
Why'd you give that job to Red Robin anyway? He has not been terribly useful thus far.
No, he is not. I mean, at one point, Superman clunks Superboy's and Wonder Girl's heads together like it's the Three Stooges, and yeah, so they're all fighting, doing what they can, and then it leads to Superman just outright punching Superboy really hard in the chest area, and he starts coughing up blood, and he does an X-ray vision, and he sees that his sternum is broken and one of his ribs has punctured his heart. He's bleeding out. He says, like, point blank. He doesn't even say in a panic. Keep in mind, this is like Superman just post Joker death.
Yeah, this is the first time.
Yeah, this is like Superman, like, he seemingly would have, if they would have kept pushing their luck, he seemingly would have slaughtered all of them, like, or at least crippled all of them. I mean, yeah, it seemed like this is a Superman a little bit further into year one, maybe even to year two at this point, but no, this Superman just balls to the wall already, so this is the only part to me that's kind of like, seems a little off timeline-wise, but here,
this whole thing's a mess. Like, we'll get into it deeper, but go on.
And then we get, like, one of the funniest images this comic has ever offered, I gotta say. I mean, this is up there with some of the Batman faces in the Black Adam face, but if you look at the one where right after he's coughing up blood, and after the X-ray vision, it's the very next panel. Superman is talking to Wonder Girl, who is crying. I want you to zoom in on Red Robin's face.
Ooh, I didn't see that.
I'll give you a moment to pull that up.
Well, okay, so I see Superboy's about to hit him.
Yep. Well,
Superman punches his chest.
Yeah, this is after the X-ray vision.
He's coughing up blood.
After the X-ray vision. It's the very next panel.
Okay, yeah, I got you.
Zoom in on that. For some reason, they gave Red Robin pupils here. They didn't in other panels. But here, he has very faint pupils there. That, in conjunction with the way his mouth is open, he just looks like total derp. He's just like, I don't know. He just has like the weirdest.
It's a little derpy.
Yeah, it's very derpy. It's just like really like, what the hell's going on here?
What's he doing with his other hand? Because the other one's like by his side, while the other one's kind of doing like the Sub-Zero like scream pose. Like I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
Yeah, it's everything is going odd for him. Not the best showing for Red Robin in this issue. Anyways, Superman explains that there is one way because I Wonder Girl is pleading with him, please get him to a hospital. He's gonna die. Superman says, well, there's nothing we can really do. It would be too late as it is. So he's just not even attempting, not even worried, not even in a panic. He's just bluntly talking robotically, not even caring. And he says, well, there is one way. I can get him to the Phantom Zone. And then he puts a nice little asterisk there. But if I get him to the Phantom Zone, I can't have you all interfering either. So I'm gonna have to just get you all to the Phantom Zone. Like, this is such a dick move. It's like, well, I pretty much killed Superboy, so I guess I can't leave any witnesses. And then he just kind of wipes his hand clean of all of these people that were like his friends, and these are all like youngins to a degree. So like, man, he just like full on went Anakin Skywalker here, and just like, you know what? Screw you guys.
And his face is not drawn in any panel to fit the atmosphere of what's going on whatsoever.
Oh no, just stone face, stone demeanor, stone tone. Nothing about him shows any sort of empathy or like, what did I just do? Keep in mind, this is just post Joker death, so this is him making a statement about how, you know, the Jokers of the world need to go away. This isn't like, oh, I've been dealing with people that have been trying to hold me back for years, so now I'm not going to hold back any longer. This is just like his first interaction post-Joker killing, so this is just very odd that he just seemingly does not care, which can say one of two things. Bad inconsistency, or was Superman like this all along? Like, as soon as the whole Metropolis... 11 million people dying, apparently Lois dying, his unborn child dying, then he goes to kill the Joker. Is this just a broken Superman that just no longer feels? Like, that's kind of what it's implying here, is that even from the get-go, he already turned that corner. It's just we never, it was just building up more and more in the comics, but this is trying to maybe get across the message that he's not the same immediately after that.
And yeah, gosh, this whole thing's a mess because first of all, like, even Superboy doesn't really make sense. Like, all Superman did was kill the Joker, which I don't want to downplay that.
Yeah.
But immediately he's like, this has got to stop. We got to take him down. I'm like, what? Really? Already? Like, and then he's like, I'm going to take him to the Phantom Zone now? Okay. And then the strike two is just like, you're right, Superman just killed the Joker. He's still in the process of mourning. Like, it hasn't even been like 72 hours yet.
Yeah.
And he's like, you four have disagreed with me, so I'm sending you all to the science fiction equivalent of hell. All of them. It's just
no, it's not even hell. It's like limbo. Like, you're in nothing.
and the third strike is, does Cyborg not go like, hey, has anyone seen Starfire or Red Robin?
Has anyone seen my former friends? And who cares? I'm in the big leagues now. That's what he says.
Oh, I'm sorry, Cyborg. They all died in the explosion. After the funeral, there was another explosion from the Joker that I killed, and they're all gone. I'm sorry, Cyborg.
Yeah.
What do those coordinates say? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, what? Just, what is wrong with Cyborg in these comics? I don't get it. Like, oh, man. And then, gosh, poor Starfire. Like, her face needed, like, a second draft, because there's... God, when she's flying the jet, like, she's like 20 years age. She looks like full-on Bette Midler. It doesn't look good at all. I'm like, what is... Yeah, way too fast. Not consistent with year one. Just, and God, yeah, nothing good.
That's funny.
Ooh.
She went from like late teenager to like full on 50,
to like
60.
Marge's sister. You can Photoshop a cigarette in her mouth.
Just turn her hair purple, put a cigarette in her mouth. Okay, Homer.
Oh man, this just sucked. This was bad. This is really bad.
Yeah, this was. I mean, I was glad to see the characters, but yeah, this was rough. It definitely, it suffered from being done post year 3. Like everything we know about Superman, it seemed like they just took that Superman and implanted him in year 1 at the very beginning. Like, because we could expect this from year 3. We could not, like, this is not how it started out in year 1. He's still held back to a degree. And yeah, granted, he didn't just outright like kill them all right here, but when he killed Green Arrow, it was a huge deal. Like, it seemingly he just went into a rage, which led to that. Like, he didn't even
like
realize. Yeah, it didn't even. Part of it didn't even seem like he realized what he did until after the fact. Whereas here, it feels like he's completely aware of what he's doing this entire time, and he just does not give a fuck. And he's not like angry here. He's not like mad. There's nothing blind rage that we're seeing here. We're not seeing seeds of blind rage. We're just seeing like a stone-faced killer right here that just does not care. No remorse.
No build-up. It's just like, listen, guys, I think dictatorship is the way to go. So I'm going to need you to disappear for a little while. It's so shady. Oh, man. But it also, the whole setup is weird, because I thought if you played the game, Cyborg talks like Starfire is dead. Red Robin is dead.
Well, we don't know what kind of web Superman spun. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Superman could have easily said they died in Metropolis during that explosion, end of story. There's really no proof or anyone left that could... Well, that's not true. Wasn't there Speedy? Oh my god, Speedy, no! It's gonna be like the very next issue. Even though this is an annual, we're just gonna get like maybe annual for year 5 or something. Like, we're gonna come back to what happened to Speedy. poor Speedy is just gonna be dismantled by Superman. Just so no one talks.
I could also see like after like Batman and everyone was transported to the lead mines, it's like, Speedy, is that you? Where have you been? And he's like full beard, like just been in the lead mines the whole time.
Oh my god, like, because that would, well, no, that doesn't even make sense, because Cyborg was part of the damn funeral. He knows that they didn't die in the explosion. What am I even saying? It's not just Speedy. It's just clearly Cyborg just doesn't care about his friends. Because I don't know what Superman would say to that. They held a gun to me. I was worried for my life. Like, I don't know that. I don't know how Superman can explain that. I honestly wish we saw how he did, because that doesn't add up. Cyborg was at the funeral. He knows that these characters survived. Why? Yeah, that is odd.
Like, I can imagine like 3 days before Arrow died, Speedy 2 accidentally shot Clark Kent.
Yeah.
There's like a Speedy somewhere at the bottom of Saturn. No one knows.
Yeah, he's on Saturn, someplace where no one will ever check, except for Spectre, and apparently fucking Phantom Stranger might be there. But
just go back to the comic. You see Speedy's corpse floating in the background.
It's like an Easter egg in the issue.
Oh, Speedy, never forget.
Good old Speedy. Poor guy. Yeah, I like the thought of Cyborg not being there and just Speedy. Like, that, to me, is way better. Superman's just like, yeah, none of them made it. Especially Speedy. I never saw him.
He got the worst of it.
He got the worst of it. Ground zero for that guy. Anyways. Yeah, so yeah, definitely probably the weakest of the annuals so far. So, yeah. Interesting. I've heard good things about the year 4 annual, though. It has to be that one now that people talked about But anyways, not to belabor that, we'll get to that in due time. But for this one, yeah, somewhat disappointing. Cool to see the characters. Nice to see like them try and flesh out the story a bit more for these characters and at least find out what happened with these characters. But it's a shame, yeah, it was handled in a very messy fashion on both fronts, and it didn't quite add up. At least in the Titans front, it definitely did not add up. There's some plot holes going on there. But
Good
anyways,
laughs though. I mean, I chuckled enough. If anything,
Yeah.
I can't hate anything that makes me laugh. So yeah.
yeah, no, it was fun to talk about for sure. I mean, I guess the good news is any of them could come back for the game. They just got to somehow escape the Phantom Zone. But
Oh man, that would be a sick little stinger after the credits where it just shows Starfire and friends just like floating into the Phantom Zone. Just oh god, that would make me. Man, I miss I love Starfire. Where's Starfire? Fuck.
well, she's pretty popular in the DLC polls, so I'd be surprised if she doesn't make DLC. But you never know. It's hard to tell
Yeah.
with NetherRealm.
Well, I'm
sometimes.
afraid she's gonna get cockblocked by Carol Ferris. That's what I'm worried about. But
It's
we'll
possible. Yeah. All right. Well, see you guys. Have a good one. On to year 4.
see. Peace.